Hi Yash, welcome to this discussion again. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Hi. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for coming up for this another session on learnings about healing, meditation, and everything, and especially about the new program that we are launching out, that we're introducing with this video, which is a retreat program, which is a kind of a healing and meditation retreat program for people to actually come and join. It's a it's a wonderful program that has a mix of healing techniques, meditation techniques, and getaway feeling that actually comes from the travel experiences. Also, it's a wonderful mix. But I want you to take on the lead on this and help us understand this program.
Yeah.
So
As
over to you.
yeah, sure. As always, I would like to thank our ancestors before we start our conversation. As always, so this retreat program we are announcing and relaunch. Sorry, we are announcing and launching this program this month in March of 2025. This is after our effective one-on-one coaching as well as physical events that we have conducted so far, and also group meditations that we have done in different
Right.
various locations. Yeah. So this is our next project that we are launching, and we are glad to announce this. And this retreat is going to be very exciting because we're going to be traveling to a archaeological sites as well as an important, I would say, from a cultural and heritage perspective, they are very important site for us. And these places will actually help us understand our own heritage as to who we are, and then help us also heal during that session. So these sites will give us insights into uh, what exactly is the history behind these sites, what are the heritage, what did our ancestors do there, how did they gain those insights to build such beautiful places. uh, and also there was no technology at that time, right? As we know, but they have actually used consciousness to actually build these archaeological places that is available to us today. So it's important to go to these places and tap on that energy, and tap on our ancestors energy as well, so that we invoke their presence to get direct healing from them at the same time. So I'm so very excited for this, and I'm also thankful and grateful to you, Gaurav. You have been very part of this project. You have been mostly behind the scene, but I want to really appreciate and thank you in this at this.
It's always team effort, Yash. It's always team effort.
Yeah.
No one person can actually build, entire thing. It's always a team effort. But I really want to extend on that point, and I want you to not hurry and just take your time to actually explain the kind of program structure that this has, and maybe how you see as a milestone in our in our foundation, in our organization, and also the kind of deep healing that people that you think and you believe that people will have when they come to this program.
Yeah.
So
Since this program is going to be off-site, as in the clients will have to travel to these locations, it is also an opportunity for them to shut down from all the technology that we are hooked on to,
correct.
especially laptop, mobile, any other technology that is currently taking away our time, including looking into the watch and wondering whether we have committed to the 5,000 steps or 10,000 steps. So I want the client to really come out of these technologies and start being themselves, and start to use their own divine self. And when they are away from this, they are able to now give time to their soul. uh, while our program actually focus both physical and spiritual, it is basically focusing on body and soul, which is atma. Yeah. So I want our clients to kind of give their time, dedicated time to this retreat, so that they can understand who they are. At the same time, they heal from the past blockages. So there are a couple of things that we will be covering during the retreat. We will do meditation in the morning and in the evening. And likewise, if possible, we will try and get the space at the location itself to do the retreats, uh, and be in that nature, and get the healing that the clients require. So the healing process that I have curated is essentially our healing past blockages. This help us to clear off all our past karma, past generational issues, generational ancestral kind of transition that came through us. So all that will be cleared, and as well as what we have done in the past while we are still here. So it is essential that we clear that past blockages, so that we create a new chapter in our life, and we also cleanse our both our body and soul. Body is required because we have to be healthy going forward, to do the work that we come for in this time lifetime. And the atma is what we would be carrying on as our journey once we drop our physical body. So essentially this cleansing is required, and once we cleanse, we are giving enough you know moment of uh, purification in our sense, in ourself, right? So it will help us to continue our journey even when we drop the body, the physical body. So so this is part of that meditation programs that we are conducting. And then of course we'll also be covering all the archaeological or the specific heritage sites, especially the temple, or if there is a space for us to go and do meditation, we'll be going to those locations as well. So it will help us to enhance our meditation process, and client will understand all those previous ancestors, how they have lived, and why these things happened, and how we can what can we learn from these process, and take away from these lessons that we have obtained from these sites, I would say, right? And subsequently we would of course we are covering all our food over there through the resorts that we are connecting with. So essentially our meditation will also continue in that place. So it's going to be a community kind of, or rather more than a group meditation, I would say more of a community, little community that we'll be gathering together, and then everyone exchanging their views and opinions, and as well as we'll be clearing those views and opinions as well, because everybody comes with different diverse background and ethnic background. This retreat is open to everyone. This is beyond religion, so it's open to everyone. Anyone can come in, and they can obtain this healing at this point in time. And I want to elaborate a little bit more on the site. The site that we are going to is specifically the first place that we are announcing is the Kadara. It is an ancestral site. It is also an archaeological site. There are ruins of the ancient temples that were built by our ancestors, and it is important to know the real history behind it, and what were the materials or that they have used for building these places, and how did they actually build these temples at that point in time. So I'm sure astronomy comes into perspective, because all our temples are built based on astronomy, and the star and the sun alignment. Accordingly, they would have built this temple. So it's important to understand this strategically, how these were placed in the location where they are, and from there we gain insights and feeling. Yeah, over to you, Gaurav.
No, sure. I'm actually on a personal level, like I really feel retreats are. I'm a great admirer of retreats because retreats I feel is a great reset. It's a like fundamentally I believe that people, because of the constant connectivity that we have recently talked about, actually get go far away from their natural instinct, natural basic self. So technology actually puts you far away from the technology. So these meditation retreats are actually a wonderful way to reset, to come back to your own body, your own mind, and feel zero at some time again, in order to restart yourself. And I have 2 points, that I draw from this discussion. The first one, because we have touched it, the first one is about the past life blockages. But before we get to that point, my first question is about the retreat site that you mentioned, Kadaram in Malaysia. So I want to understand why you chose this site specifically, and what is, since I know you have been practicing archaeological healing also from many years now. So, what particularly is great about this site, which is why you chose this site as a first launching, retreat? Yeah.
Yeah. Our ancestors from the Sangam era, which is the first dynasty or the civilization of this universe, actually traveled from the so-called Bharat or India of those days. There were no India or Bharat at that time by the name, but definitely they were, they had the land and they flourished. So from there they traveled. They were the first one who traveled to these locations and identified that there is a land here, and these are places where they actually realize there is more connection to the nature. So wherever there is green and land, we connect to these five nature elements, right? Which is water, earth, fire, wind, and space. So these five elements is what makes us as a human being. We talked about this Trishul concept in our last podcast as well, and also about Namah. So essentially, our ancestors focused on these five nature elements, and chose this location for building their temples, living there, and then also civilization also flourished there at the same time. Agriculture also took place because of the nature of this site. So essentially, this has a lot of meaning to it. So these five nature elements actually kind of compromise, what do you say? Actually, it's the five elements that actually takes part of this site, which makes it very important for us to understand the reasoning behind it. As I mentioned about Trishul, we are like a Trishul, and Namah Shivaya is basically the five nature elements. It represents who we are, and each part of our body actually represents these five nature elements.
So are you saying probably this site specifically is a great constituent of all those five elements
Yes,
in physical form?
yeah, in physical form. These are the cosmos or the universe is based on these five nature elements. But
The structural and geolocation positioning of this site
geolocation, yes.
maybe has amplified the aura of the space.
Yes, the aura where you can actually, connect yourself directly to your divine. There are specific places in India as well. When you travel, you basically would be able to connect very quickly as compared to when you're just sitting in a city like Bangalore, you know, which is very busy with technology and all that. Same like if you're sitting in, a different part of the country, it is difficult for us to connect. But once you get out of the city and you get into the nature, you connect to that particular cosmic energy, right? Because there is not much of technology that is interfering into your, except for the phone that you always hold, that should also stay away from as much as possible from you. So that actually helps you to connect cosmically. I want to emphasize that when I went to Almora in Uttarakhand, it is very high up, elevated from the ground level. So when I went there, I went for meditation because that's also a location where Swami Vivekananda had actually, meditated. And
Kasar Devi temple you're talking about.
Kasar Devi Temple, yes,
Kasar Devi
yes,
temple.
yes. So that was actually a cave, but later on they have built a small temple around it so that it becomes a little more like a temple. And there are spaces there for you to do actual meditation, and the connection is happens very quickly. Of course, you should not go there for Instagram picture because it is a beautiful place. The valley looks very beautiful, but the focus should be on connecting yourself with the cosmic energy, and that's one of the magnetic location in this universe, I would say. There are many scientific research has been done before, though I'm not much into scientific explanation because I focus more on spirituality. Spirituality always comes first, then only science, right? So when we go to these places, I don't need to be in, let's say, in Northern Europe to see, those northern lights. But I was able to connect and see those northern lights while I was in Kasar Devi Temple. And I have released these blogs previously, and you can find them in my knowledge center. And I was able to connect directly. So I was able to also understand then why Swami Vivekananda chose this place to meditate for a longer period of time, because when you do such research, you then tend to understand that there are certain reasons why these particular saints or sages have placed themselves in a particular location. And when I went there, I had that experience, and then I realized that he could have had similar experiences as well. So likewise, coming back to Kadaram in Kedah in Malaysia, this is also a very cosmic location. It is fully nature, and we should tap into this energy while we are there. And it is very important to stay away from the technology so that we can immediately get that transition. So I want to emphasize that two different places so that they understand the reasoning behind me choosing this. Yeah, yeah, Kadaram.
Let's talk about the nature of our program. The basic constituencies of it talks more about the deep healing. The topic itself is quite vast and it has its own subcomponents also. But I want to understand you from the perspective of my first question that I have on the list, uh, the past life blockages. I want to understand how deeply people in our era are affected with this. And like how serious is the trouble, and what magnifies the overall problem, and how our program type of things can actually really help people to come out of those situations of stuckness in life.
Yeah. See, overall, we have to actually heal from not only from our past, but we also have to balance the masculine and the feminine energy within us. We are one energy. Right now, if I'm a feminine, I need to, bring in the masculine energy and, kind of bring it to a balance. That's the end of my journey, right? That's the end of journey that one person has to achieve in this lifetime. And it is possible because I was able to do that. And it is possible for anyone else if they give their time and dedication to getting through that. Most of the programs out there actually focus on Kundalini and chakra and all that. But as you know, I focus solely on body and soul because soul is what we have to focus on. Because while we are focusing on chakras, we are forgetting about our soul. Soul is where we have to give attention to. And that is the same soul which we call divine, which is going to connect back to your divine source, right? And when we leave our body, that is what is going to carry us out of this body. So essentially, our healing is going to be so deep that it's going to heal even our soul. Our soul comes in and then it cries because it doesn't it feels like it doesn't belong here, but at the same time it has to finish its lessons in its experiences, so that we are able to get back to our divine self. So I want to emphasize on the uh, visit that I did in Egypt. When I went there in a location called Aswan, and there you would see a particular, where um, a craft they have crafted into the rock of these four gentlemen, which are called Amun, Ra, and Ta, and Ramses. Ramses is sitting equally to the god. The others are considered god of Egypt's gods of Egypt, right? But Ramses is shown sitting along with these gods. So to me, my understanding is that he has become one with the god. So therefore, he's being shown as one. So this is what we have to achieve also. So as a lesson from there, we have to understand that we have to also become one with our divine, and we can achieve that in this lifetime. And the other example is the Cambodia. Cambodia also has a lot of, it was a cultural hub, I would say, at that point in time, where everybody actually confluenced in that location and going through a deep healing in every of these sites that existed. Though Angkor Wat is emphasized a lot, but there are many locations within Cambodia, and there are many temples out there that still has a lot of remnants and ruins of the temples. And each of these sites, you would see a lot of sages seated in a meditation posture and then undergoing transformation. And if you notice some of the southern Indian temples, they would have an arch behind the goddesses. This means that you are actually undergoing the transformation, you are going through the enlightenment process. And you would see this in Cambodia, and and you would see this transition from being a sage or a saint to to being a half body human and half body animal. That doesn't mean that this person is becoming an animal in this lifetime, no. But they have received this siddhi or knowledge or wisdom that they can transition out of this physical body to take on another particular body or animal or plant or something like that. So that's why we see a lot of stories that Nandi is Shiva's vahanam. You see Garuda is generally is Vishnu's vehicle, etc. So essentially we are seeing that the sages are transitioning from one um, you know state of body and soul to the final transition where he or she is transforming and receiving the enlightenment. At the same time, they receive uh, additional what I call siddhi, meaning knowledge or wisdom, that can help them transition and go help people. So, like if you remember my miracle story in Rishikesh, where Siva took the form of Nandi and he came to rescue me. So that shows that when you become a divine, you can actually also do the same. And if you remember the Tirumura story that I also explained, he took the form of the shepherd because he wanted to bring all the cows back home. But Shiva came to teach him a lesson, saying that, hey, you shouldn't just leave your body. You should make sure that your body stays protected. Otherwise, negative energy can come in and take position into your physical body, and therefore your behavior, psychological attitude, everything changes from then on, and two souls essentially lives within you. So these are all lessons that we have to go deeper and understand these archaeological sites as to how they actually able to do and concentrate and get to the next phase of life. So I urge our clients to actually when they come to this retreat program, to kind of pay attention to the sites and understand the total, not just the nature, but also how do you, learn to transition your life. It it is also a means of resetting, right? uh, and also achieving the knowledge and wisdom. And of course this comes with a lot of I would say surrendering, dedication, penance, sadhana, right? You have to do all this, but it doesn't mean that you have to leave behind your family and all that. You can still be in the physical realm, do your day to day responsibility, but at the same time you give your time and dedication to continue your journey as to why you came to this, to this earth, to experience all this, and also at the same time achieve this before you leave your body. So that
One of my key struggle have been with the entire idea of meditation and retreats is that most of the time people actually struggle and juggle with the when they come to retreat, or when they come for a meditation seminar at somewhere for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, maybe a week, and they have to actually return back to the normal life. And this is the one part that it's sometimes it becomes really difficult for people to actually extend the impact or result they found in the retreats for the longer part of their life, where they will be actually doing their daily functions. And the second issue that I'm right now like seeing very often is that the younger generation, those who are like actually adopting the idea of meditation and and the self learning, finding the self with meditation by with mindfulness and everything. They are actually getting away in a different sense. Like probably they are feeling that being dysfunctional is okay. You know, while my basic struggle is that it should not, it should make you more functional. It should be make you in fact it should be amplify the results that you can achieve in shorter span of time. What do you have to say about these two issues?
I think it comes with discipline. That is very, very key to achieving one's, even if it is achieving a physical goal, or a particular thing that you want to achieve in your life. It requires discipline. So getting up in the morning, early in the morning at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and setting up your alarm, and getting up and making sure that you spend time about half an hour, 20 minutes to dedicate your time for this meditation is so important. Even when you come back from the retreat, it is so important that you continue this journey, because only you can achieve that from within you. If any guru come and tell you that I'm just going to give you this one and then you're going to achieve that, no, don't believe this is not true. Every person has to go through this journey and come through. Even if you, let's say, sometimes you go to this temple and say, God, you help me get through this situation, I'll come and bribe you and give you this, right? I will come and do this for you. But that, because God feels that he or she feels that he has to oblige by your request, he do it for you one time, then the second time, then the third time, but it's not permanent, right? As you can see, it's not permanent. It's just helping you only for the moment, but it doesn't help you on a permanent solution. So the permanent solution is yourself. You have to fix yourself. You have to take the reign of that chariot, right? You are the holder of the chariot, and you ride that chariot. You have to take action on a daily basis. So when you come back from the retreat, you need to make sure that you spend that dedicated time at least once in a day. If you can't do twice, at least once in a day is very key to accomplishing that goal of continuing your journey experience. It'll, even that 20 minutes will give you that intuition that you require, the daily messages that you need, how to solve your problem on a daily basis. Everything will come to you flawlessly, You don't have to, go against the flow of the water. You just, or the sea or the ocean, you just go with the flow of the day, so it will come to you naturally. So discipline, I would say, is key. And then, of course, I would encourage you, whenever you have time, you have to read some scriptures and then get into your meditative state to understand the meaning behind each of these scripture, because they are much more deeper than just a particular scripture or a statement in that book. And of course, you can, watch certain content to make sure that it aligns with your soul. Not all contents are true as well, because today there are many content creators, including ourselves, but we always stay to truthful to our authentic self, so our content is always authentic. But there are today earners of the content creators, so they put out content because they are trying to earn the money, right? Because it's their day job. So we have to, it's the soul will tell us what is true, what is not true. And that's why this discipline, dedication is required even after we come back from the retreat. It will help us to, stay focused. And it will not, allow us to even take a step into the wrong path completely. It will take us back only to the correct path. This is what I always felt during my journey. I always felt like, oh, I feel like I'm going to go to the other side, but no, they always bring me back to the correct path.
No, I mean, right. You said it very rightly. Like also on the topic of um, the struggle with when I said about with the adoption of younger generation of
Yeah.
meditation. The entire idea of actually getting dysfunctional and how I was referring was more in terms of mental adoption.
Yes.
Like I'm seeing a common tendency of the people, younger generation especially, those who have started believing and started practicing on meditation practice on daily basis. They find it very useful, but actually somehow for some reason and negatively mostly, they are starting to believe that it's actually okay to be numbness, okay to have less drive to achieve more in life. And that I see something as a deteriorating a trait, because as a human, I believe, and I want your thoughts on this also. I believe meditation is a practice where you can reset yourself so that you can do better. It's like taking two steps so that you can jump seven steps ahead. uh, what do you want to say about that? How that can be prevented?
I believe the youth has a lot of content out there. It depends on who they're following and what are they reading, and what practices are they following. There are two versions or three, couple of versions, I would say. Right, ours is solely focused on body and soul. Like I mentioned, soul is what we have to give attention to. But today, if you see, the content out there is asking you to focus on kundalini, which is your chakra. And then there's the other category of groups that are asking you to concentrate on tantric. Tantric has become a very uh, viral topic for the youths today, which I believe should not and never be practiced, because our ancestors never asked us to practice tantric style. Tantric all came through a different clan, and our real ancestors never asked us to give up uh, I would say they didn't ask us to give certain things to receive something. They never asked us to do that. In my journey, I would say I never really did any of these. Giving this, you do this for me. No, nothing of that sort. All I gave was my time. That is all. So I think our youth is kind of in a confused state of, I would say, because they have too much information out there. They don't know, they don't have the right leader, I would say. Mostly they don't have the right leader who they have to follow.
Yeah, like spirituality cannot be a barter game of barter.
Game of butter, yes. Yeah, it has become like that. So essentially, more than not having a good leader, they are also not going out and seeking the right guidance also. What they're seeking is, I want immediate answer right now. I would say it's not only with the youth, it is also with the adults. There are a lot of clients who are coming to me. They tell me, how do I achieve this within the next 24 hours? If anybody comes to me asking me this, how can I earn this money or how can I do this in the next 24 hours, I will not entertain such clients at all, because this is not truthful, this is not correct. You cannot achieve anything overnight. Yes, our ancestors, from a healing perspective, they will come and heal us within 24 hours, because it has happened to me, which I can declare that officially. They can do it. But I will say, I will not go and give my time and just say, okay, I will. That means I'm also getting into the bartering system, right? And this is what God also never expected this, but this is happening in our temples today, right? Our folks are going there. I wouldn't even, there's nothing to do with the way the temple is being run or anything like that. It is our own self who is going there and telling God, I will do this, and you're exchanging.
Yes, interrupt. Let me interrupt you at that point. And also correct me on this thought. Probably the issue is how the younger generation are approaching this entire idea of meditation. And resetting. My basic thought is that probably the youth and the people in general actually go and fall in trouble first, and then they start seeing meditation practicing or healing practices as a solution finding mechanism,
Yes,
while they should have actually been a very basic practice like brushing my teeth or maybe taking a bath every day, as a very fundamental activity of my life in a form of survival. In that way, probably taking a jog or taking a walk, should be as equal to taking 15 minutes of meditation every day. And when that happens, when youth people in general actually adapt meditation that way, probably they will not use it only to find the quick answers. I'm just drawing from you what you told me. What are your thoughts on that?
yes, yes. So the youth today has, like I said, the content is out there. So they're following the trends today. The trend today is you have to become size zero for ladies, for example. For the gentleman, you have to have six abs. You need to go to the gym every day to achieve this, muscles and body and all of that. So essentially, their time and thought, everything is going towards what is trending in the world today. So that is where their time is taken away. They need to take back the time and energy and put back into this meditation. But I would also say that from the beginning of our childhood, we didn't have such education within our environment or community that says meditation is key to achieving consciousness and awareness and understanding the truth about who we are and all of that. All they say is, brush your teeth, get your breakfast, go, go to school, and come back, finish your revision, do your studies, go for your exam. Next, for the other teenagers, go achieve your college degree and all of that. So it is a continuous, as you can see, it is a continuous process, that from childhood to your teenager to your adulthood, we have been forced to follow this concept or the trend, and therefore it lacks the actual value and education that should have been there from childhood. For example, but in India there are certain community that actually do that. They actually do practice all these valuable lessons, but it comes from the family side itself. So they do teach them various scriptures right from the beginning, but it's a very small set of families, right, that do this from the beginning of life. It's not just the particular sect of family, but I would say a small percentage. They do read the scriptures from the beginning. They actually go for all these traditional cultural musical lessons, which actually gives you an art form and understanding, and also those classical dances and all that, which actually gives you a little bit more background to our culture and heritage. But beyond this, I don't think that the school doesn't introduce this. Even if you go to kindergarten, these things are not introduced from the childhood time. So when you go to school, also this meditation is not introduced. Uh, And if you go to university also, this is not also part of it. So only when you come out you face these particular issues, then that individuals start to ask the question, where is God? The concept of God, as I mentioned, as we know, is our ancestors, but we call them God because of the nature of our, you know, the way it has been addressed. But essentially, they have come here, lived here, shown us the way. This is the way to go forward. So I wouldn't blame the youth themselves. It's because they lack this education right from childhood. So it is a two-way to see it. One is they lack the guidance from the parents, but it's also because the parents themselves didn't have this education themselves. So they are also not educating the children. So it's a pass on. So that's why we have to hook on to our old traditional rituals, traditionals, and then follow all that, and that keeps us on the right path. So I would say it is not to blame the youth. The youth requires awareness, and that awareness education has not taken place as much as we think it should be. It should be starting from the childhood itself.
No, you're giving a lot of ideas, to me and sparking a lot of new things.
Maybe, like I
Definitely.
said, Gaurav, maybe we should just go stand on the road and hold a placard and say, do you know anything about meditation? At the at the signal, usually you see certain people. We are not doing any protest, but we are going to hold this placard and say, okay, do you know anything about? You'll be very surprised how many people will actually respond differently.
No, even probably, you're saying right, very very true that probably now is the time that government should actually start,
Yes.
deploying it in the schools,
Yes.
like this, the sports period,
Yes.
in the same section you can also introduce meditation. It's not a religious practice.
Yes. It's
It's
not.
a basic practice for humans to actually, to reset themselves,
Yes.
regardless of the religion, regardless of the creed, regardless of
Yes.
the god and goddesses they follow. It's a very very fundamental thing. Um, um, so on that front also, so probably the learning from this entire side of the discussion is that uh, not you will not get everything and just by coming for the retreat, but also see, well, like continuity is more important after the retreat than only being at the retreat. Probably you are the one who will actually decide the real impact of retreats once you will focus on the continuity of what you have been taught in the retreat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Actually, we are kind of tapping on this client and saying, "Wake up!" Right? It is time for you to give time to this part of yourself, which is important. If we are to say that if you're expecting someone to come and do this for you, no, no one is going to come and do it for you. If you do this, I am sure that you will not only achieve the goal that you want to achieve in your life, but also heal from your physical illnesses as well. This is why it was so important in those days that they have actually focused on healing specifically. It was totally on healing. If you see all the concepts of the temple, the ruins that you see in all over the world, it's all about healing. So those archaeological sites were meant for healing, going through those transformation stage in our life, cleansing ourselves, and then coming out as a new person, and then contributing to the society in a good way. So it is so important, like you mentioned just now, that the government should start to introduce this as part of the subject. And we urge all NGOs to start thinking along this line and encouraging this kind of programs or awareness education be introduced all the places. It is high time, because otherwise our youths are going into the wrong direction. There are so many things that are happening. It's not only the crime, there are many other situations that are happening in our all over the world. You see a lot of drug trafficking, you see crime, you see rape. These are all because of the values that are missing from the childhood. And of course, because they didn't have any proper guidance that these are not appropriate from a uh, from a human perspective. So this is why it is driving people to do this. And also because money has been set as a priority in someone's life. Money should never be a priority. When money becomes priority in one's life, then your spirituality takes a back seat. So I think this is where we now start to recognize that whatever we see in the social media is not true. We need to take a step back and understand that, earning 1 crore, 2 crore, 5 crore, buying plots, lands, that doesn't give you peace at all, because you have to go and keep checking on those places as well, and giving you sleepless nights. This isn't what it is. We came to heal ourselves. This is the true uh, you know awareness that we come into perspective.
So, yes, now I really want you to, give us some glimpse on the deep, things, topics that, people would, some basic idea about, what people will actually learn,
Yeah,
and, and how this program will transform their life,
yeah,
and what will they will draw out of this program.
yeah. Some of the topics that I'll be covering is basically on.
Especially something that, is quite different from the
Yeah,
other meditation retreats,
yeah, of course,
People
because
will try to bring in this.
mine is completely based on what I have learned from my ancestors, right? They came and taught me, and I actually went through this whole process, and I actually created a theory called Master Your Heritage Living, because it's all about how and what is the heritage that we understand, and how do we live from there, right? So essentially we need to master this and master our spiritual inheritance as well, right? So essentially I'll be covering on surrendering ourselves to our divine self, because it's so important on surrendering. Only when you surrender, then you get, you know you are essentially kind of giving a permission to your divine to come intercept on your behalf. If you are in trouble, or whenever you are not well, they can intervene and come into your aura field. It doesn't mean that they are taking control of you at all, not at all, right? It's just that when you're driving your car, you are just are a passenger, and the divine is the driver of this, right? So we are essentially surrendering to make sure that you allow them, giving them permission around your aura field, only to them, only to the positive energy, right? We are not allowing the negative energy. That also I'll be covering in the topic about, why should we should protect our aura field, because our aura field is so important, that our energy is, can get disintegrated, can get chaos, because of all the news that we see. At the same time, people coming towards us with a negative energy as well. So we have to keep ourselves protected. So these are two topics, main topics I'll be covering. And the other one, one of the biggest topic that I would cover is the forgiveness. We have to forgive. If we don't forgive, we cannot heal from the past. When we forgive, we feel light. We clear off all the past karma, generational issues, but we are not cutting any kind of cord with our ancestors. All we are doing is we are giving peace to our ancestors, because they are still not settled in their lifetime when they were here, right? So essentially we are giving them peace, and then we are also receiving that same peace within us, and it helps us to move on to the, to the next part of our life. So forgiveness is very important topic, and all the topics that I'm covering is all belongs to our ancestors from, from our land. It is not something that has come from the western world, and don't believe in those theory. This all belongs to us. Our ancestors introduced this to us, except that it has been, reintroduced to us from the other side, but that's not true. This is ours. So, other than that, I'll also be teaching about astral travel, because that is one of the viral or trending topic out there that individuals are asking, and wanting to travel and see some universe outside of the existing planet, right? Which is so
Like when you
important.
when you when you touch these topics, at times I really get very afraid that there are so deep and so complex topics, and even naive people are actually trying to touch this topic, which is like giving a soul to someone who don't know how to even use a
Yeah,
stick.
use it properly in the right way.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, and only do good for the humanity. We should never use these energies for the for harming the universe, nor should we use it for harming anyone. We should do good only for the people and for
In
the
fact,
universe.
without a guru like you, without kind of having a proper session, one on one with you, in the discussion, in a deep, meditation state, uh, it's really dangerous for people to actually practice these.
Yes, it is very dangerous, because there are people who have come to me and say that they can sense somebody else sitting next to them, or having a pressing them. So this is so essential that we understand the principle behind these practices. That's why I don't encourage tantric at all, because then you get into that negative energy connection so easily. Whereas we are just only moving along with the positive energy all the way, so there is a way for all this. So it's so important to understand the different and differentiate these categories completely. And of course, I'll also be covering the what is the difference between a vision and dreams. Vision is what our ancestors will give us. Dreams is not true at all, and dream is what we need to control. And and like, as you probably know, mind is not an organ. So once you control your mind, as in you bring down your mind to zero, there is no mind. It's only your thought, and your memory is there, because it's your consciousness that is working, right? And the dream will dissipate, once you know how to control that completely, and allow only the vision to come through your third eye. And that comes with practice a lot. And everybody is asking, can I get to see my third eye immediately? It comes with practice, right? I have to say, it comes with practice. Initially, people will start seeing certain light first. They will start to show you slowly, one by one, not everything, because you cannot absorb everything immediately. So it's not an overnight. Like I said, it's not an overnight. So from the retreat, you need to continue. But obviously, during the time when you are there, you will definitely be feeling all these changes immediately, because my clients have, on day one, when they attend my meditation sessions, they sense my energy, they sense my light, my deepa holy, and they also sense certain lights that are coming to them, so they can immediately feel that they in and those devotees who are been praying to Shiva before, they start to see lingam. It's a sign that they're giving to you, that yes, this is the right path and this is the way to go. So essentially, if these are all confirmation that comes to you, that yes, this is the right thing to do. And I would say we need to learn to detach from all the dramas. This is the couple of other topics that will be covering, which is the detaching from the drama. It is so important. We need to detach from daily drama that you see, whether it's an issue, it's a news in the that is going on in the world. Recently, there has been some topics in different parts of the world, so we don't need to get into that drama at all. We just have to detach. Yes, it has happened. We pray for the souls. We pray for whatever that has happened. And also, if there is a disunity that is creating chaos, we need to stay united. This energy disrupts our energy, and essentially it creates disunity among different ethnic backgrounds. So we don't need to get involved into it, so we just have to stay united. Don't give our energy to this kind of news. We just have to take back the energy and use that energy for the purpose of good. Yeah, these are the couple of topics that I'll be covering. And during these sessions, when you are going through the meditation sessions, you will start to get some healing physically. And I'll also be teaching you how to cut the cord, not the cord with your ancestors, but cut the cord of things that you don't need in your life. It could be your friends, it could be your past, it could be anything material that you don't need in your life. It will start to come out from it completely, so that you start fresh. Only people who are part of your journey will continue, who are not taking up your time, who are not taking your energy, who are part of your collaboration project, all of that will continue. Otherwise, this particular court will be done, and we can say goodbye to those people. Only when they have learned their lessons, they come back into our life, or they don't. That is up to us to decide, or the divine will decide for you whether they should come back into your life or not. And it has happened in my life very clearly. I've seen, I'm so glad it all happened, because a lot of my time was taken away. Now I know clearly, even if client comes and take a lot of my free time. I have these free 30 sessions, but client like to talk for more than 30 minutes. But they think our time is so free that we should give them more than 30 minutes, but that's not appropriate either. The client should also appreciate that we are giving our free time uh, to their to the concerns that they have in their lives.
But actually, I want to take 2 minutes more of you
Yes.
on the topic of forgiveness, because I really believe, and I really want you to elaborate on this topic. I really believe forgiveness as a subject, as a topic, is really grossly misunderstood. What do you have to say about this? Including and from the aspect of teachings that you will be doing in these retreats.
Yeah. So forgiveness is so important that when you forgive, let's say Gaurav, you have made some mistake, it's without intention sometimes. So I actually forgive you, but physically I don't need to be in contact with you. I can forgive you and forgive myself, and I ask the divine also to forgive me, so that it just, all those issues get dissolved completely. So that's how we do that with our ancestors as well, because whatever they have done is affecting us today. And that's why we are not stable in our life today, because we are carrying those DNAs, we are carrying their past issues with us. It continues in that family, so that whole family is disintegrated. So many things happen because of that. So when we do this forgiveness, it kind of creates a aura of I would say compassion, happens, and then there's much more understanding among the people that we interact with, and all of that. So it is a very important topic. I think a lot of people don't understand that forgiving is so important. People say, no, I'm not going to forgive them all throughout my life, and that's it, they close the door. And what happens is that if this person passed on, so the next children generation that is coming on will have to carry this burden, and it continues, and it continues again. So essentially we are carrying on for generations and generations, all these past, and this is what is blocking our life path. One, to achieve our consciousness, and also blocking our what our goals that we want to achieve in this lifetime, whether it's our mission to contribute back to the society, or whether to help our community, etc. I hope it gives you a little bit more perspective as to why forgiveness is so important. But you don't have to be interacting with that individual. You're just doing it at a spiritual level. But you will see these changes happening at the physical level, because that person is healing. You are also healing internally, both physical and spiritual. The spiritual is basically the Atma, which is our soul, which is connected to our divine source. You see that? It's a much more deeper.
I'm drawing like forgiveness is cleaning. You can always clean yourself. You cannot clean others. It's more about for you.
uh, when you do, when you mention the other person's name, you're also cleaning them, you're also healing them, essentially. If, let's say, your grandparents have done something before, you're also healing their soul, as essentially it's the soul that is getting healed, and physically they'll be at peace. So if, let's say, the grandparents is still alive, physically they'll also be at peace, and they'll be at peace if they have passed on, and they will also, come out of this situation, and naturally at one point in time they realize that their mistake, because we cannot go and tell them you made a mistake. We cannot go and educate someone on that. There's no point. There's no point going and arguing and, putting on a drama with another person who's not ready to listen to you. But we can do all this internally and move on. Yeah.
So last question I have for this discussion, and then I will, wrap up this discussion, is about the fundamental of this program. I really believe that the basics, the native, fundamentally, this program is built on your core learnings of archaeological healing, right?
Yes.
So, like I want to feel, which is also like traveling with uh, a kind of a spiritual travel, spiritual based traveling also. So I really want to understand, how, what do you think, the archaeological travel actually, play a vital role in in the mental and emotional transformation of people. Like what I'm sensing is that we have combined two things: the spirituality, the archaeological aspect of this entire thing, and the travel also. So
Yes.
how this entire mix actually, brings the best out of people.
Yeah. The travel helps us to move away from the current energy that we are stuck with, right? When you travel or move out of your place, you're actually shifting the energy. So you're moving to a new dimension or a new set of energy. So essentially, when you're going to a place of nature, you're connecting with the nature, and the nature heals you naturally. That is, naturally it will help to heal you from psychological tensions, anxiety, stress, whatever you're going through in a daily life. But for you to, go through physical and spiritual healing, it is through that meditation process that we just described earlier, and you'll be practicing that, both theory and practical. And also, when you are visiting the site, because it's an archaeological and heritage site, you're going to be, understanding the concept behind these places, and how healing took place in those days, and why these places are so important from a cosmic standpoint, and how they can align with your divine self. You can always then, choose to go back to that place, or you can choose another place to go back and, take some time out, do another retreat, because from time to time we need to shift our energy from the current, stuck energy that we are in, and it helps us to refresh ourselves, and then also helps us to kind of start thinking, uh, you know uh, what are the next steps we have to take in our life as well. So these are kind of things that you will start experiencing when you are coming for the retreat. Our retreat also, as you mentioned, is so different from others, because we are covering archaeological sites, which are so important that a lot of people do not really spend time understanding these concepts. It is important to understand our heritage, only then we ourselves can correct ourselves, right? That gives us the major lessons that we need to know in our lifetime, because this
Maybe
is.
it's also about like being in that zone of energy at times, because you cannot receive all those energy. Like for proper healing, you have to be in the zone of that energy, that archaeological
Yes.
movement speed
Yes.
energy.
Yes, that is true also, because as I mentioned, it's the you'll be part of the nature, which is the five elements. The archaeological site itself is.
Because Amazon cannot deliver that thing.
Because when you're at home, I'm sure most likely you'll have a laptop or a phone next to you in your room when you are going to bed. So I would encourage, if possible, go back to the old style, those alarm clock that rings so loudly that will wake you up. But otherwise, your body clocks helps you wake you up naturally. When you get into your meditation, 4 o'clock helps you to just get up, or 3 o'clock, 3:40, or 2 o'clock, whichever the time. You just tell before you go to bed that you want to wake up at this time, and you just wake up. I would encourage that you don't keep any technology items in your bedroom when you're going to bed. And also, if you see the current trend, interior designs are that they have TV in their rooms. TV should never be in your bedroom. It's watching you always. So, and it's also a technology, right? So it should not be in your bedroom at all. It should be outside if you have a TV. And if possible, most of the time, don't get stuck to the TV at all the time. Take some time out in the nature. At least do a 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk, um, if if you get the time, and be in the nature. Even trees speak. I'm sure you would have heard of it. And even animals, you can connect with, because once you reach a certain stage, even the animals will respond to you, the trees will respond to you, the four directions of this universe will respond to you once you reach this state of enlightenment. This is the true self, what we need to achieve. Even if you ask the storm to stop, the storm will stop. Even if you ask the rain to stop, the rain can stop. Even if the ghat is raised up with water, if you pray, it will listen to you. So this is our true divine self that you can achieve, but it comes with responsibility. You must use it only for the good of humanity, not for creating chaos, not for creating disunity. It is only for the unity and for humanity. This is my message for everyone who is watching this video, because it comes with a lot of responsibility with that.
No, I'm sure I'm really convinced about the structure of this program. This probably will change the way people see spiritual travel.
Yes.
The core fundamental structure of this program is really great. Probably it's giving a new dimension to the entire spiritual travel, the concept of spiritual travel.
Yeah.
So I really feel it's a good opportunity for spiritual travelers, spirituality seekers, backpackers, solo travelers, like the people who actually also for those who are like seeking getaways on weekends. And this probably this one is an international retreat, in the
Yeah.
Kedarnath. It's in Malaysia. So I feel this is a great opportunity for all those people who are actually looking forward to for an international retreat. So Yash, very very congratulations for you and to the entire team to launching this program, and we wish you all the best. Let's
Yeah.
hope
Thank
to
you.
do some great events together.
Yeah, definitely we'll be introducing more retreats in other international locations. And we
Sure,
are looking for collaborators locally. For Kadaram, definitely, we have two collaborators who have been very helpful in the background as well. We'll
sure,
introduce them in the future when we physically run this retreat.
sure. So thank you very much for today's session. The website and the URL for this retreat will be announced on our website, justfoundation.info itself. So very soon it will be launched. And thank you very much for your time today, Yash.
Thank you. Thank you very much.